the March 31st banned and restricted announcement, a single change occurred to the modern format. Underworld Breach was finally, at last, banned. If you would like to hear me talk more about that, you can watch me talk in depth about it here. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about what didn't happen on March 31st, and what did happen in the previous B&R announcement on December 16th of last year. In other words, we are talking about cards being unbanned today. The modern ban list is an ever-growing document of design mistakes, power outliers, and key pieces to unexpected combo decks dating back to the very birth of the modern format. There are currently 50 cards, yes, 50, on the modern ban list. Some cards on the list have been banned for so long that the format they were once banned out of looks unrecognizable compared to modern today. Between 3 Modern Horizons sets and the bonus Jonas Horizons set, Lord of the Rings, the power level of Modern has skyrocketed since 2019. If you compare a random card on the Modern ban list to Renin 6, Ragavan, Psychic Frog, Orcish Bowmasters, Murktide Regent, and Ocelot Pride, you might find yourself wondering what the banned card did so wrong compared to the crimes committed by countless Modern Horizons cards in every single match of Modern played today. Wizards of the Coast agrees with this assessment, by the way. That's why they unbanned Splinter Twin, and why they unbanned Green Sun Zenith, and Faithless Looting, and Mox Opal back in December. Sure, unbanning Mox Opal in particular might have been a mistake, but the other 3 cards have done nothing whatsoever in the modern format. Sorry, Splinter Twin. Or they've done fun, cool things for modern decks that needed some help to keep up with the Modern Horizons state of Modern. But these 4 cards, or 3 if you don't count Mox Opal, weren't the only cards on the modern ban list that would be safe to introduce back to the format they once terrorized. In this video, I'll be talking about 5 cards that I believe are not just safe for Wizards of the Coast to unban in Modern, but cards that would actively make the format more fun to play. And I'm not talking about Splinter Twin level unbans here, nor am I hopefully talking about Mox Opals. I'm talking about cards in the Green Sun Zenith Faithless Looting range. I'll discuss why I believe the card would be a safe unban and what I think it would add to the format. So let's discuss not what should be banned in a format for a change, but what should be unbanned, shall we? And remember, I'm giving away 2 of every sealed product of Tarkir Dragonstorm this Thursday, April 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific. It's Trouble in Pairs, only, without the plagiarism. It's 2 collector booster boxes being given away for free, 2 play booster boxes being given away for free, and 2 of each and every Commander Precon being given away from me to you courtesy of Whatnot. Right now, when you create a new Whatnot account using my invite code at www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College, you'll get a $15 credit to spend on anything in Whatnot. Sellers have Magic the Gathering cards and packs in their stores. I've got signed playmats and signed cards. And if you stay tuned after my stream, the Command Zone is going to be streaming with giveaways of their own and awesome unique items for sale in their store as well, and my $15 credit works in their store or mine. So tune in and maybe you'll walk away with a free collector booster box of Tarkir or a play booster box of Tarkir. I'm giving away 2 of each and 2 of every Commander Precon. There's so many giveaways, and after me, it's the Command Zone giving even more things away. And if nothing else, you might as well claim your $15 credit by signing up for a brand new account using my invite code. That's www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College, and I'll see you for the Trouble in Pairs stream, our double feature extraordinaire, this April 24th, Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific. And thank you, Whatnot, for sponsoring this video. Alright, before I get started on the list proper, I do want to actually highlight not 1 but 2 cards that I consider to be Splinter Twin tier unbans. That is to say, these are cards that I think you could unban and the format wouldn't even notice. I'm mentioning them specifically so that you know that I didn't omit these cards from our proper top 5 list because I thought they'd be unsafe. Quite the contrary. I think these 2 cards are far too safe to be relevant. In fact, I believe there are quite a lot of cards that could be safely unbanned. Let us begin with the Splinter Twin tier. These two cards are Punishing Fire and Umezawa's Jite, the latter of which might be a bit of a shock to some of you, but I'll explain my reasoning for both. Let's start by talking about Punishing Fire, which was originally banned because of its oppressive interaction with Grove of the Burn Willows. Essentially, the two cards simultaneously suppress any small creature strategy and also create inevitability. You can Punishing Fire over and over again using Grove's life gain to pick it back up, keeping the board clear of creatures forever. But keep in mind, that's a 3 mana investment every turn cycle. Can you imagine spending 3 mana to cast Shock every single turn in today's Modern? Eldrazi players would laugh in your face. Well, Eldrazi players are already laughing in your face, Eldrazi players. But they would do so even more than they're already doing. Not to mention Amulet Titan players, Belcher players, Ruby Storm players, even Boros Energy, the deck against which Punishing Fire would ostensibly be the most, punishing, is probably too fast for Punishing Fire to adequately slow down. I mean, by the time you've cast Punishing Fire on the draw, your Energy opponent might have put 5 power into play. Honestly, I think Punishing Fire could have been unbanned ages ago. What about Umezawa's Jite? Well, while it's true that an active Jite makes creature combat miserable, much of the creature combat that exists in Modern today really isn't the kind of creature combat that Jite contributes to. Look at the top 10 decks in Modern right now according to MTG Goldfish. Of these, which would care about an active Jite? Probably Boros Energy, Domain Zoo, and Orzhov Midrange. Everything else goes way over the top of Jite, or is too fast for it, or both. The main argument against Jite being unbanned would be how good it would be equipped to a first striking Oscillate Pride. But it would also be good against Oscillate Pride. And honestly, I don't see Boros running the card as anything other than a sideboard card for the mirror, if that. So yes, we should unban Jite and Punishing Fire, but honestly, it wouldn't make a difference. Now, let's get on to the fun part. First up on our list proper is a card that many Magic the Gathering players think would be unplayable in the current era of Modern, but I'm not so sure. Number 5 on this list, it's Blazing Shoal. Blazing Shoal was originally banned because of its interaction with the Infect deck. Basically, if you're attacking with an Infect creature, you can pitch any 9 or greater mana value red card from your hand to cast Blazing Shoal for 0 mana, instantly turning your Infect creature into a lethal attacker. This wasn't just good in and of itself, but the compact nature of this combo meant the rest of the deck would be full of cantrips and protection for that combo, rather than additional pump spells like Infect has to play nowadays. But speaking of nowadays, Infect is utterly unplayable. There is too much cheap or even free removal in Modern nowadays for a game plan that boils down to point pump spells at tiny creatures to keep up. The aggressive decks that survive in current Modern aren't just explosive, they're also resilient. The solution? Unban Blazing Shoal. Let the Infect players cut all the weaker pump spells from their deck and just focus on finding and protecting their instant kill combo. I think a strong but not too strong A+B combo deck is a fun thing to include in the Modern format, and I think Blazing Shoal Infect would be a great choice for that deck. It's easy to interact with, but because the combo is so compact and efficient, the Infect player would have some room to maneuver. That's not to say that Blazing Shoal would solve all of Infect's problems. One of the best decks in the format plays Goblin Bombardment, for crying out loud. How does even Blazing Shoal Infect ever beat a turn 1 Oscillate Pride, followed up by a turn 2 Goblin Bombardment? I don't know, but I'd love to watch them try. That just sounds like a fun game of Magic. Next up, we have a card that could single-handedly revitalize a popular archetype that hasn't been playable in Modern in years, if ever. Number 4 on the list is Glimpse of Nature. Glimpse of Nature is an absolutely ridiculous card draw engine in a deck that's otherwise full of creatures and has plenty of mana with which to cast them. The only deck that really meets this description? Elves, of course. Wizards of the Coast has been quietly printing more and more cards that are integral to the Legacy Elves deck into Modern over the past few years. Most recently, Wirewood Symbiote and Priest of Titania in Modern Horizons 3. But it continues to deny us the one card that the deck actually needs. With a resolved Glimpse of Nature alongside mana producers like Heritage Druid and untap effects like Symbiote and Quarian Ranger, it's not that hard to draw virtually your whole deck, especially since Glimpse of Nature stack. If you've cast 2, then each creature draws you 2 cards. Eventually, you find a Craterhoof Behemoth, cast it, and Commander players will tell you what you do next. Win the game on the spot. Actually, Standard players can tell you what you do next. Craterhoof is in Standard, that's another video. Call me crazy, but I think that's something that lovers of kindred creature decks should be allowed to do. And there's counterplay to Glimpse turns, of course. Orcish Bowmasters essentially hard counters it, and it can be hard to set up your mana through a barrage of all the same removal spells that make Infect unplayable. But at least the dream would be possible for the first time, maybe ever. And you know what? Maybe Glimpse could be unbanned and Elves would still be unplayable. I'm not out here pretending that life is easy for a deck built around little guys in the current era of modern interaction. I mean, I play Merfolk, for goodness sakes. I know what it's like. But the potential upside of single-handedly revitalizing a deck like Elves seems well worth the risk of mediocrity. At the very least, Elves would become a deck people could legitimately bring to things like Modern Night at their local game store, and that seems well worth the price of admission to me. A key card to a single, popular, yet hitherto unplayable deck seems like exactly the kind of thing Wizards of the Coast should want to take off the ban list. The next card on the list might be a little controversial, but I feel confident in this one. Ponder. Yeah, Ponder. It's not just a safe card to unban in Modern, but a fun one too. Don't at me. But do hear me out. Ponder's cousin, Preordain, was unbanned in August 2023, after more than 10 years on the ban list. Preordain was banned alongside Ponder in the first ever BNR announcement back in 2011, the same announcement that banned Blazing Shoal and Green Sun Zenith, for that matter. Since its unbanning, Preordain has been a valuable role player in Modern, but hasn't made that much of an impact. It's not even a 4 of in many of the lists that run it. This script's writer, the one and only Jessie Robkin, only ran 2 copies in her regional championship winning Breach list back in March. She also couldn't resist writing yet another mention of her RC win for this script, as well as writing that I should say, one more round of applause for Jessie. We are all very proud of you. Anyway, the point is this. Cantrips, even very good cantrips, don't have much of a home in Modern. Hey, let's get that top 10 decks in Modern graphic back up on the screen. Which of these decks would want Ponder? Don't say Ruby Storm. That deck is entirely uninterested in 1-mana blue cantrips, as it's built around the cost reduction of Ral, Moonsage Mage, and Ruby Medallion, and can't storm off with spells that can't be cast with red mana. No, the answer is, probably Dimir Frog, maybe Azurius Control, maybe Blue Belcher? Certainly nothing beyond that, and neither of those latter 2 decks even run Preordain right now. What decks would play Ponder? Decks like Goryo's Vengeance? Is it Phoenix? Maybe combo decks like Tameshi Lotus Bloom combo? Or Thopter Sword? I could see Is It Through the Breach running it, but these are all decks that are on the far fringes of Modern right now, if they even exist at all. A Ponder unban might actually help these decks stand a chance. If there is an argument against Ponder's unbanning, it's that Wizards of the Coast doesn't want Xerox decks that have a full play set of both Ponder and Preordain running rampant on the format. They want diversity of gameplay, which cantrips certainly don't provide. But I don't buy that argument for 2 reasons. 1, Wizards has been content with Is It Phoenix as the best deck in Pioneer for going on 3 straight years at this point, so they clearly don't mind repetitive gameplay in their non-rotating formats that much. 2, none of the current top 10 decks in Modern are the kind of decks that would run 8 1-mana cantrips. If anything, decks like that need the help of Ponder to become relevant. I honestly believe unbanning Ponder would make games of Modern more diverse, not less. Who knows? Maybe unbanning Ponder could finally make Twin playable. It wouldn't, but Twin players would try, at least. Alright, we're down to the last 2 cards on the list, and honestly, I already know they're going to be controversial, but I hope you'll hear me out on these. Number 2 on our list of cards to unban in Modern is Hypergenesis. Hypergenesis is a ridiculous card on the stack, but there are only 2 ways to get it there. 1, you cast it off of an As Foretold or Electrodominance style effect. 2, and more realistically, you cascade into it with Shardless Agent or Ardent Plea. Once on the stack, you get to pull all the nonsense monsters from your hand into play. Emrakul, Atraxa, Archon of Cruelty, you name it. From there, if you get to attack, you probably win the game. What I do think is fun, goofy, and healthy is casting an Ardent Plea or Shardless Agent on your turn, cascading into Hypergenesis, putting a bunch of big baddies into play, and then saying go. This gives your opponent a full turn to find a sweeper or simply kill you, and that seems perfectly fair to me. It also makes the combo harder to protect, meaning counter magic is more effective against you. Most importantly, I think Hypergenesis has really fun counterplay to it, even beyond the normal Cascade hate like Chalice of the Void or Drannith Magistrate. No, with Hypergenesis specifically, your opponent also gets to put stuff into play alongside you. If they put an Emrakul of their own, well, you'll be passing the turn back to them to swing at you before you can swing at them. Or what if they just slap down a Portal to Phyrexia? That's just good, clean magic if you ask me. If unbanned, Hypergenesis would instantly be the strongest Cascade payoff in Modern, and that's in a format where Cascade is entirely non-existent, just 1 year after it was the best deck, mind you. I think a revitalization of the archetype would be good for the format. So what is the number 1 card that I think not only could be unbanned in Modern, but should be unbanned in Modern for the health of the format? Well, number 1 on our list is really going to ruffle some feathers. Remember, don't at me, at Jessie. But you know what? I agree with her. I support these proposed unbans, and I stand by the call that number 1 on this list is Dig Through Time. You heard me. Yes, I know Delve is a broken mechanic, and that it's an especially broken mechanic in any format with fetch lands, which is, what Modern is, but I don't think Dig Through Time specifically would be broken. Before I make my argument, I want to take a little trip into the past, the BNR announcement that axed Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise in one fell swoop. Flash back with me, will you? Do you kids get that joke? This is like, we showed this to our 10-year-old the other day. He was like, this is old people movies. What do you notice about this paragraph? That's right, at the time Dig Through Time was banned, it wasn't even seeing play. All the decks that would have played it played Treasure Cruise instead. Wizards just banned it preemptively because they believed Treasure Cruise decks would just switch seamlessly to Dig Through Time if they only banned Treasure Cruise. That's not even a textbook case of a card dying for another card's sins. I don't know what it is. Now, okay, to be fair, they were probably right. It made sense to ban Dig Through Time alongside Cruise at the time. But that was then, and this is now, and now is a decade after then. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that we also unban Treasure Cruise. That's not the number 1 card on the list. I believe Treasure Cruise would absolutely be utterly, disgustingly broken in Modern, but I just don't think Dig Through Time would be. And here's why. Delve is broken because it reduces the cost of spells, right? So to evaluate the brokenness of a card, let's imagine a fully powered version of that card being cast in a typical game of Modern. Treasure Cruise would cost just 1 mana and draw you 3 cards. Literal Ancestral Recall, Dig Through Time would cost you 2 mana and only net you 2 cards at the end of the day. Yes, they're probably 2 great cards, but they're still only 2 cards. The crux of my argument is that while many Modern decks would easily and gladly become Treasure Cruise decks, I don't believe the same is true for Dig Through Time. I think Dimir Frog would probably play 4 Dig, though in doing so it would probably compete with either Murktide Regent or Abhorrent Oculus. Azurius Control would adore 4 Dig Through Time, and what else? No, really, what else? If you disagree with me, leave a comment listing all the decks in Modern you believe would jam Dig Through Time into their deck list. Maybe explain why you think that while you're at it. I'm waiting. I think Dig Through Time would give controlling blue decks just enough juice to keep up with the Boros Engines and the Gruul Eldrazi's and the Amulet Titans of the format. Blue control has been bad in Modern for a really long time. No, really, it has. Don't kid yourself. I don't think Dig would break these kind of decks, but it might, just might, make them more competitive with the rest of Modern. And that leads to more choices, a more diverse meta, and a better format for everyone. But of course, these are just my opinions, and now I want to hear from you. What cards do you think deserve to come off of the Modern ban list? Are there any I didn't mention here? Are there any cards on this list that you think would be a terrible, awful, embarrassing mistake to take off the ban list? Don't at me, but let me know in the comments below. And remember, I am giving away 2 collector booster boxes of Tarkir Dragonstorm, 2 play booster boxes of Tarkir Dragonstorm, and 2 complete sets of the Commander Precons from Tarkir Dragonstorm. That's 10 Commander decks, all going out from me to you on my next Whatnot stream Thursday, April 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific. It's our double feature stream with the Command Zone, only it's not going to suck. Stay tuned after me for their stream, and you're going to have other giveaway options and cool items to pick up, and use my invite code to create a new account and get a $15 credit to spend in either of our streams. Just go to www.whatnot.com/invite/Tolarian College to claim your $15 credit, and then tune in and hang out with me, the professor, and maybe you'll walk away with a cool booster box or commander deck of Tarkir, or just have a really good time. I hope very much to see you there. Thank you, Whatnot, for sponsoring this video. Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
I've got a very special deck. This was a plot, a scheme rather.
Our lead director came up to me before shooting and just said, "Prof, just go with it when you see it. Don't start frowning, just go with it, please." They've been trying to troll me with this for a month now. They've been going on and on about it, and I don't know what this deck is.
Llanowar Elves.
Oh,
the classic.
6th edition. Your turn.
Oh,
6th edition.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna flash in Gandalf. This is a card art.
That card. That was the one in the secret layer where it was like 42 cents worth of cards.
So I got loot.
Oh, you got loot too.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, loot times 2 is 6.
I think I'm starting to hate what you hate.
Yeah.
All of this looks crazy.
You must have just subscribed to Tolarian Community College. I am literally going to shuffle up and
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm at 5 time counters, just
Be
so
careful.
you know.
Prof doesn't misplay.
That's right.
Prof does bad plays.
That's like the underside of a female pig.
I'm not even mad. This episode is probably never going to air. I don't even care. How much Magic 30 did you buy?
I don't want to talk about it.
Do I look like I care? I'll just pick X.
Garbage.
Shut up! Let me ask you this, idiot!
How much better does Soul Ring make, Batman?
This is the kind of...
X.
You can do it.
Land the shot.
Smash it. Ooh. Oh my god!
It's the most
Yikes.
up card I've ever seen in my life. I have no idea how it works.
I think I